Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the Nerdic Pro Podcast. How are we doing this evening? My name is, as per usual, Bobby effing Salastar. I do apologise that this podcast is out a bit later than what it was originally scheduled to be. Had a very busy week this week. Currently in the process of moving house, and been dealing with all that, and then fucking life and shit. Everything just tends to get in the way sometimes, where at the worst possible moments, and this is going to be a bit of a mini-ish podcast. It's not going to be, a million hours long. 5 minutes for it. And, so it's got to be me sort of reviewing the Royal Rumble from last week. When did I put a letter in here from HMRC? Let's go check that. It's got my address on it. Hang on. What's this? Right, here we are. Fucking more of this shit, man. My God, it's criminal the amount of fucking paper that I've got. For wrestling and for podcasts and for all that sort of shit. So, what was I saying? Yeah, so this is mainly going to be a podcast reviewing the Rumble, as well as me going to try and sort of somewhat fantasy book mania. Obviously for this year. What is it this year? 42? Is it this year or is it 43? Either way, the 2026 WrestleMania, I'm going to try and somewhat sort of like fantasy book that. And before I do get into that, be sure to be tuning in to the Nerdic Pro Podcast YouTube channel tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Where Nerdic Pro's Richie Stoneham will be being joined by let me just double check who it actually is, who he's going to be being joined by tomorrow with Collapse the Sky. They are a metal group, metal music group. This will be episode number 2 in Richie's Feeling Blair sort of music podcast. Basically, where he welcomes on various different like metal bands and metal music groups, etc., as well as metal music promoters as well for gigs. And then this coming Wednesday will be the debut of the Nerdic Pros anime series. That will mainly be this Wednesday at 7 p.m. This is all UK time, by the way. Will be about Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball series from 86, I believe it is. Because the past couple of weeks, I've had a subscription to Crunchyroll, and in my opinion, that is quite literally the greatest thing since sliced bread. Anyway, so the Rumble last Saturday in Riyadh of Saudi Arabia. Pretty much the one and only good thing about WWE having shows in places like Saudi is that, coming from somebody who lives in the UK and is from the UK, it's on a reasonable time. Since they started doing shows in Saudi back in, when was it, 2018, was it? 2017, 2018, something like that. They've always been, at, like a reasonable hour, what have you. Don't get me wrong, there have been some good matches in Saudi, but there've also been some fucking diabolical moments as well. I think the Rumble last week was, I think, a completely utter shit show. Match of the night, I think the only good match on that show was AJ Styles versus Gunther. Don't get me wrong, really, really good match. I pretty much, alongside everyone, I don't think was expecting that outcome, but we were at the same time. But yeah, because of the fact on how it was advertised as if AJ Styles were to lose, he immediately retires, from WWE. Which he never put his, he did that thing with his gloves where he took them off, was going to put them down, and then didn't, and then was going to again, but didn't. He didn't take his boots off. Do you know what I mean? And then on Raw this week, we then had Gunther come out, and then to AJ's music just to take the piss, and I just think it's. It was a good match. I think the match itself was really, really good. I think the build-up was all right. But that's pretty much the only sort of good thing of that show, was that match was a good match. I didn't particularly like the outcome of it, but that's wrestling for you. Do you know what I mean? But I think Rumble. Excuse me. I think they completely pissed on Bron Breakker by literally having whoever this was in the hood, fuck Bron over, when considering that you had Obafemi in the ring already as number one, then you had Bron Breakker in it at number two. They had obviously Bron come out and then get completely fucked over by this person in the hood, and then whoever he or even she was, and then you had Bron get in the ring and then Obafemi eliminate him like that. Do you know what I mean? I think that trying to build Bron Breakker up to be this next big thing, this next big, colossal, badass motherfucker, part of me thinks that they sort of ruined that by that. But obviously we shall wait and see, but depending on what comes out and what happened within the next few weeks between now and Mania, because it's like, could this lead into the demise of the Vision? Could, like as Richie was saying on the predictions pod that we all did, I say we all did, myself, obviously Richie, Ian and Mickey all did, could Seth be, did Seth send Austin Theory in to be a spy of the Vision? Because I think Rich made a very good point. Let's not forget, Austin Theory has got a good history with Seth Rollins, right? Because let's rewind a few years back to the behind closed doors era of COVID and the coronavirus. Obviously, you had Seth, Aleister Black, Malachi Black, whatever you want to call him, and Austin Theory, all in the what was the fucking group called? I can't think what the fucking group was called, but when he was known as the Monday Night Messiah, so from what I can remember, I don't think they ever officially fell out, because I think like they all got injured at the same sort of time. Malachi Black, Aleister Black got released, and then obviously fucked off to AEW. So like they never really sort of finished that sort of story. So yeah, and then whoever this is who was in the hood last week in Saudi, could this have been another person coming in who Seth has had previous history with, you know, in the good limelight or the bad limelight, whatever the fuck, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I put a status out on Facebook the day after, 2 days after, whenever it was. Go follow me on Facebook if you haven't already. Bobby Salazar. And I basically said that I think that the Rumble needs to be bigger than what it is. Because, as in, I think there needs to be more entrants in it. Because the people that were in there that I don't think should have been in there, and then the people that should have been in there that weren't in there. You know, you didn't have any member of the New Day in there at all. Kit Wilson weren't in it. You know, yet you had two El Grande Americanos people. You know what I mean? Who else weren't in there that I can think of? Was Johnny Gargano in it? I don't think he was he? Again, he'd have been great. I was literally just about to say Tommaso Ciampa, but then obviously that I remember that he's obviously now in AEW, and literally that same day of the Rumble, beat Mark Briscoe for the TNT title in AEW. But yeah, it's the same with the women's, you know. And yeah. Also in the men's, in either Rumble, I get that, you know, you obviously want to use people from NXT as it puts them over, what have you. And obviously with the partnership with TNA, you know, you've got Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AAA, and TNA. People, obviously there wasn't anyone from TNA in this year's one, but there quite easily could have been. Do you know what I mean? And what have you. So I don't, you know, they had La Parca, they had Mr. Iguana, they had two El Grande Americanos. Yeah, neither one of the New Day were in it. You know, Kit Wilson, etc., you know, and various others, you know, weren't in it when they easily could have been, you know. But yeah, you know, it's just like the fuck, you know, is going on here. And yeah, but you know, I mean, with Roman winning the men's Rumble, if we end up going to Mania and we end up seeing Roman Reigns again win the whatever belt it is, so CM Punk is challenging it for the World Heavyweight title. If we end up seeing Roman have anywhere near the title reign that he's literally, well, I say only just had, like, you know, 2 years ago had, I'm gonna scream, because I can't go through another 4 fucking years of that. You know, I can't. You know, that was just like the fuck. You know, what was it like? What was it in the end? Like 1,300 and some odd days, or something. Like 1,306 days or something. You know, something stupid. And it's like, if that happens again, you know, it's just gonna be like the fuck. You know, like I remember seeing a video of Roman beating Cody the first time round at Mania 40. And literally just after the match, there was this bloke in the crowd who was literally throwing a massive tantrum, if you want to call it that, because of it. And he literally fucking broke the seat that he was fucking sitting on. Through the fucking rage of Roman going over. You know, I just found that funny as fuck. But, I felt his pain. You know, I remember doing the Mania reactions to this then, you know, and it's just like, who the fuck next? You know, obviously it ended up being Cody the following year, the following year's Mania. And, yeah, I was just like, the fuck? Do you know what I mean? And, yeah. Who won the women's? Oh, bloody what's her face, wasn't it? Liv Morgan. I wasn't expecting Raquel and Liv to split. I was more expecting Alexa and Charlotte to split. As they were sort of gearing towards that right at the start, and you know, it sort of looked like they were going to split, you know, in the build up to it. You know, like I remember Tommy Lambert, part of the Nerdic Pro Podcast, was saying as soon as Charlotte came out, Tommy was like, "Oh yeah, Charlotte's number one. You watch number two will be Alexa Bliss," and obviously, lo and behold, number two was Bliss, and then they sort of started play fighting, looking serious, but they'd look like they were, you know, like the look of pissing about as well. Yeah, so I thought, oh fuck, are we gonna see the end to this combination here? Are we not? Are we not? Do you know what I mean? And obviously we did it at the end, and yeah, obviously Brie Bella returned, and yeah, that was that. And Liv Morgan won. I think that was fairly predictable. Again, literally the entire card was predictable as fuck. Do you know what I mean? And it's apart from the men's rumble, you know, I wasn't happy with Roman going over at all. You know, because it's like you look at the stuff that, you know, there was nothing to have thought, oh, so what story does this put Roman into? Do you know what I mean? You know, because it could have easily have been Drew that he could have gone up against, or it could have been, you know, because like he's got that history with Drew winning, you know, and plus as well he's sort of got a history with Punk. You know, you look at the old Days of the Shield, you know, again, you know, like and what have you, you know, and but it's like fucking, but it's like what could currently be made of that, you know? Yes, you've got the past and what have you, but what can you make of the now of Roman, you know? But obviously this is WWE booking for you. But yeah, part of me wants Punk to retain at Mania because I can't sit through another fucking near on 4-year title reign of Roman. I'm not saying that it's going to be anywhere near that fucking length of time at all, but you know, right at the start of Roman's reign, no pun intended, you know, back in 2020, none of us were expecting then for him to have had the reign that he had. You know, how many of us were expecting Jey Uso to dethrone him? How many of us were expecting people like Drew McIntyre to dethrone him? How many of us were expecting people like AJ Styles to dethrone him? People like Kevin Owens, you know, John Cena, you know, Sami Zayn, you know, how many times did he fucking challenge for it? You know, I remember once fucking Logan Paul challenged for the title in fucking Saudi against Roman. You know, and actually put on a pretty decent match, to be fair. You know, and Brock Lesnar, you know, how many of us thought that Brock was going to dethrone him? Do you know what I mean? I think out of all of the people that Roman had as challenges throughout that time. To begin with, I thought that Cody was lower down the list of people that was able to dethrone him than so I think that Cody was lower down that list of people that I thought was going to end up dethroning Roman for the title than like what I thought. But then obviously we got into the following Mania, and I thought, right, 2 years running of this shit now. Cody's won both Rumbles, and what have you. He obviously spent a bit of time out injured beforehand and what have you, and trying to build off his father's legacy and, trying to finish that story that his father never ended up doing, blah, 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 that sort of bollocks, right? And he did, and again, I remember doing the fucking live reactions to it. Obviously on the Nerdic Pro's Facebook. Obviously it's no longer there now because Facebook are twats. Deleted all fucking live streams above the age of 30 days. Arseholes. Excuse me. And how the fuck I didn't wake up half a fucking hometown, I fucking don't know. Because I was just happy that someone was able to dethrone Roman. Do you know what I mean? That's literally, I was at that stage now where I literally couldn't give a fuck who ended up dethroning him. I just wanted someone to dethrone him. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't have given the slightest fuck about who it was. Do you know what I mean? I was just waiting for that point to think, fuck me, that's a fucking long time coming. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, thankfully we had that. Do you know what I mean? And but that's obviously wrestling for you. You got to get these very long title reigns, and what have you. I mean, like you look at Gunther, he was Intercontinental Champion for like 600 and some odd days, wasn't he? And since he's been a contracted WWE talent, he's spent more time as a champion in WWE than what he's not. Because obviously he was the United Kingdom champion for ages. He was both his reigns of the World Heavyweight title. He was champion for ages. The Intercontinental Championship, he was champion for again 666 days or something stupid. Do you know what I mean? And I read what this was. I think this probably would have been about halfway through, like his first reign of the World Heavyweight title. I'd probably say halfway through to like near on the end of his first World Heavyweight title reign, that he was that in that time of being a WWE superstar, he'd been champion for something stupid of like 85% of his time in WWE, which I'm not gonna lie, but I don't deny, because again he was the UK champion for ages, as I've said, UK champ for ages and what have you. But out of all people, I genuinely thought that after Braun got thrown out, I was kind of thinking, like when Gunther come in and what have you, at number 30, I thought, oh, hello, and genuinely thought it was going to end up being him, because my official prediction was that it was going to be Braun. But obviously that didn't end up being the case. And it ended up obviously being Roman. But I genuinely thought that it was a very piss poor show. I've never really rated a show in Saudi. I mean, they've been doing them there. Sorry. Alarm just went off on the phone. What was I saying? Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah. I've never really rated shows in Saudi, whether it be the SmackDowns or the pay-per-views or whatever that they've done over there. I think that the crowd attendance there was no chance that there was 18,000 there on the Friday for the SmackDown, 25,000 there for the Rumble. I mean, the Rumble is my favorite pay-per-view of the year, and I love it. I love the Rumble. I do. I fucking love the show. Because there's always that. With the Rumbles, it's like, oh shit, who next? And personally, I think the Rumble matches bring that extra bit of fun into it. Do you know what I mean? And that extra bit of fun into the potential and the possibilities, the what have you. It can reignite feuds, it can start feuds, it can, it can make it. It can make people, it can break people. So. Yeah, but I think that they massively fucked up last week, and like it was obvious that there was nowhere near 18,000 there on the Friday for SmackDown, and nowhere near 25,000 there for the Sunday. But like I've noticed this over time that every time they do shows in Saudi, like the crowds seem to be getting like less and less and less. But obviously WWE are getting paid tens of millions of dollars to do these shows, and what have you, and all that, and so like they're not going to turn Saudi down, are they? When they're being welcomed in by the, like the Saudi Crown Prince, etc., and the Saudi investment fund, and the fucking Saudi government to come over and fucking do these events, but. It's just I don't understand it. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, well, I do because obviously money's money in it. So, and again, the fact on how Saudi have got Mania before the UK, right? It's fucked, But again, money's money in it, and obviously a lot of people care more about money than what they do morals, don't they? That's wrestling for you. Coming from somebody who has, nearly 4 years experience. Well, I say 4 years, professionally, anyways. In wrestling, as I travel the country, most weekends for shows and a lot of shows midweek and what have you. As a referee here in the UK, like a lot of people do have, more care in the world for money than morals. That's just fucking life for you at the end of the day. And I think that wrestling is one of those things where it's the fucking worst for it. Do you know what I mean? But there we are. And ran over. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the Nerdic Pro Podcast, I'm gonna finish that one here. And so just want to double check the time for tomorrow. For Richie. So be sure to be joining Richie Stoneham live here on the Nerdic Pro Podcast YouTube channel for the second episode of Fiend and Blair with the guys over at Collapse the Sky. They are a metal music band, and that's mainly going to be the focus of the Fiend in Black series here on the Nerdic Pro Podcast, hosted by Richie Stoneham. He's also got a couple more podcasts pre-recorded. He's recently done one with another group, I think it was, pre-recorded, as well as the gentleman who is the promoter for... he's probably going to fucking slap me for getting this wrong. But Metal to the Masses, East Anglia. Anyways, keep track of our YouTube channel for them to come out and what have you, as well as on our Facebook page, Feeling Blair, spelled obviously Feeling and then BLEGH, on obviously Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So the Fiend and Blair podcast will be on here, on the Nerdic Pro Podcast YouTube channel. So yeah, and then join me on Wednesday at 7 o'clock UK time for the debut of the Nerdic Pros anime series, where I will be talking about Dragon Ball, courtesy of Crunchyroll. So let's see all you guys there. So anyways, my name is as usual been Bobby effing Salastar, and I shall be seeing you all later. Thank you all very much to those of you watching live. If you've liked what you've seen here on the Nerdic Pro Podcast, please do us a solid. Give us a subscribe here on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and obviously here on YouTube and on Spotify. Obviously, as well as follow me on Facebook as well, BOBBYSALAZAR, Bobby Salazar. So, and keep supporting professional wrestling and keep supporting whatever it is you are doing. And, see you all later. Goodbye.